Welcome to the Real Estate Espresso Podcast, your morning shot of what's new in the world of real estate investing. I'm your host, Victor Menasce. Today's another AMA episode. That is, Ask Me Anything. I love to answer your questions, and if you have a question you think is going to be of broad interest, send it in. I'll answer it live on the air. Send your questions to victor@victorjm.com. That's victor@victorjm.com. This question comes from Debbie in Allentown, Pennsylvania. She says, I'm interested in purchasing a home at a judicial tax sale since the properties are said to be sold free and clear. I also plan on doing a title search on the property just before bidding on it. Just wondering if you have experience with judicial tax sales. Also, are there any courses recommended for education on these sales? That would be appreciated. Thank you. Well, Debbie, this is a great question. Tax sales in Pennsylvania are a great source of properties. We've completed several. In a tax sale, if there's a mortgage on the property, it gets wiped out. However, it's important to note that the mortgage holder will also be notified. If the lender is owed, say, $100,000, and there's only a few thousand owing in taxes, the lender would be silly to lose $100,000 and the property in order to save paying $5,000 in back taxes and the effort of going through the foreclosure process. Now, in some cases, if the lien is small, the lender will let the property go because they won't recover the legal costs through the sale of the property. But that's increasingly rare. It's important to note that while most liens are wiped out from a tax sale, there are some liens that survive, specifically IRS liens and number 2, water and utility liens. Most important is to understand if there's any right of redemption period. In some cases, the original owner may have a right of redemption period that extends beyond the date of the sale. And if the owner was not served properly with legal notice of the sale, that right of redemption period can extend even further. Right of redemption means that any time within the right of redemption period, the original owner can pay the back taxes owing and get their property back. The key is to find a title company that's well versed in tax sales in your area. You want to insure title to protect yourself. And if the title company won't provide title insurance, that's a good sign there's some risk. So understanding why they will or will not insure is important in understanding what risks you're taking on. In a few cases, when we needed a particular property to complete a land assembly as part of a larger scale redevelopment, we took the extra step of quieting title in order to protect against the possibility of any right of redemption. Now, some counties, like Philadelphia, for example, are notoriously poor at serving the owner with notice of the sale. And in the case of Philadelphia, the right of redemption period can extend to 21 years if the owner is not notified. Now, in my experience, both IRS liens and water liens can be negotiated. We found that some counties are more open to negotiating liens than others. My friends that have more experience than I do with tax liens have also told me that IRS liens are surprisingly easy to negotiate, but I don't have first-hand experience with that. You'll find that in most major title companies, there's 1 or 2 title agents who specialize in insuring tax sales. And in your county, the sale is not called a tax sale, it's called an upset sale. You need to register as a bidder for the sale about 2 weeks prior to the sale. And if you end up buying a property, immediately on conclusion of the sale, a deposit of $1,000 or the bid amount, whichever is higher, has to be made by certified funds, cash or money order to the auctioneer. In your county, Lehigh County, is an information circular which describes all of the rules for the tax sale. It's very well explained in that document. And at the end of the document are the list of properties for the upcoming auction. The next auction is on September 15th, and the list of properties for sale at the auction is already posted. Some properties have an upset price for as low as $835, and one has an upset price of $170,000. That property is a Community Baptist Church in Lower Milford Township. There's pretty much everything else in between. The upset price generally represents the amount owing in back taxes over a 2-year period of delinquency. In the list of properties for sale, you'll often find that a list of properties owned by the same company or same individual are appearing on the list. That suggests that that company or that individual has fallen into financial hardship. But remember, the property can be redeemed by the owner right up to the day before the tax sale. That might represent an opportunity for you to have a dialogue with the owner and rescue the property, off market so to speak, from the auction. Sometimes the owner is cooperative and is appreciative of the opportunity to make a few dollars through the sale of their property before the auction. We've experienced at least a few cases where the owner wanted an unreasonable amount of money to sell us the property before the tax sale. Now, we explained to them that we wouldn't pay that much. We would rather take our chances and simply buy the property at the auction without overpaying for it. And in the end, that's exactly what we did. And unfortunately, the owner got nothing for their property. So don't be surprised to see the list of properties diminish significantly between now and the day of the auction. Under the deadline pressure of the tax sale, many will come up with the money to save their property. Tax sales can be a great way to acquire property. So thank you, Debbie, for a great question. And for the listeners at home, have an awesome rest of your day. Go make some great things happen. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.